Welcome to the first episode of the North American Sports Podcast, where we talk all things sports. My name is Michael, and with me are my two friends, Justin and Leo. Tonight we kick things off with some opening day talk. So Thursday is opening day, and I know I'm, as a very big baseball fan, very excited. I'm a lifelong Dodger fan, so obviously Dodger Giants is coming up. What do you guys? I mean, you guys are from Canada, so you don't maybe know as much about baseball, but I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I do occasionally watch the Blue Jays. I think it's going to be good, like with starting this podcast, and I'm going to get to learn more about different sports. So, yeah, I don't know, I'm just excited to get going and start learning more about a sport that I'm not too familiar with.
Right. Well,
I'm just interested to see where the Dodgers go from that big upset last year.
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Yeah, I mean, Dodgers are playing the Giants tomorrow. It was supposed to be a huge matchup with Clayton Kershaw and Madison Bumgarner, but obviously with Bumgarner's injury, getting hit, got hit by a line drive right to his finger, broke his finger. He obviously won't be able to go tomorrow, and I feel like it's a loss for everyone because those are always really fun games, especially with him and Puig going at it. But like Leo said, I mean, as a Dodger fan, I'm really excited to get the season underway because it was a heartbreaking loss last year. I felt like the Dodgers had it, and Houston just Game 7. It was just a dumpster fire, really.
So, what do you think about the Stanton trade that happened during the offseason?
I think the Marlins are a group of idiots. They're just bumbling idiots that don't know what they're doing, to be honest. I mean, not just the Stanton trade, but obviously Marcell Ozuna got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, Christian Yelich got traded to the Milwaukee Brewers, and Dee Gordon got traded to Seattle. And at least with those trades, it seemed like they actually got something not really of equal value, but they at least got something back. And with the Stanton trade, it just seemed like there's really not much at all, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it was upsetting to see him go, because I really enjoyed watching him in Miami. And in New York, it's just, everyone is now talking about Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and see what they can do.
Cool. Was there anything that you wanted to add, Leo?
I don't follow baseball very, very much, but when I do follow the Marlins and Stanton, when I heard he got traded, I just kind of sat there in awe. Like, why? Why would you trade that?
Right, yeah.
Like, to the Yankees of all things.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't even know. And I see... Was it Derek Jeter's involved?
Yeah, he's kind of the face of the ownership group.
Yeah, and I just kind of sat there and I'm like, I hope there wasn't any favoritism going
on
here.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't, to be quite honest with you.
I don't know, it's just kind of sitting there, you win some, you lose some, but that was one that probably didn't need to lose.
I mean that was one where the Yankees just, I feel like the Marlins probably asked them for this trade, and the Yankees are saying, really? That's it for this guy? Okay, here you go.
I don't know. To me, it's just a waste, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I actually spent, a lot of my childhood. I mean, if we went on vacation, I had grandparents that lived in Miami, so I always loved going to Marlins games and watching, not only Stanton, but Ozuna, Yelich, and Dee Gordon. And now they're all gone. And you look at this starting Marlins lineup, and it's just, I recognize a couple guys, but I mean, who are these guys really?
Yeah.
So I just have a quick question. I know hockey and other sports are different in this aspect. So in regards, I should say, to the Bumgarner injury, how hard do you think it is for players to get injured while they're in their groove, and then they're just going out there to play, and then boom, they get injured?
Right.
How hard do you think it is for them to come back? after that injury? Do you think it's a pretty smooth transition with the way that the MLB kind of conditions their players back, or do you think they still have some sort of period where they're kind of stumbling at right after coming from an injury, and then they start getting into their groove?
I mean, I feel like that Major League Baseball does, if not, they sometimes baby their players. Because especially young players. I mean, because you see these guys that have sprained ankles and they're out for a couple of weeks. Where in hockey, it's get back out there, kid.
Take a shift off and then what?
Exactly, yeah. I feel like Bumgarner. I mean, I feel like the biggest difference will be is just his routine will be different, and as long as he kind of keeps his the days he's not pitching, as long as he's kind of doing what he would do except without throwing. He should be okay, but I mean, he's an experienced guy. So he's been in the league. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. To me, the biggest thing for him is it's always. I mean, it's not necessarily coming back. The biggest thing is coming back and facing live hitters again. I mean, that's what's kind of the biggest challenge for pitchers, especially pitchers coming back, where it's you haven't faced a major league caliber hitter, and all of a sudden you're facing guys like Stanton and Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, those kind of guys.
Okay, so he is only 28 years old.
Right.
Do you think even the way they do condition their players, do you think age still has the thing to play in the recovery and stuff like that of MLB players? Like, he's 28, but say if somebody was like 32 or something like that with the same injury, do you think it would take them longer? Or do you think the way that the MLB conditions their players
with this injury, not really. I mean, it's like a broken bone in his hand. It's a broken finger, and that's really just kind of waiting for your bone to heal. I mean, that's not really anything crazy. I mean, I think if it's like it's a ligament, like a meniscus or an ACL, anything like that, then it might play a part. But I mean, he's still 32 and 28. That's still pretty young. So I feel like that shouldn't really play that much of an impact. I think one thing I kind of wanted to go over as well, because the Marlins are playing the Cubs tomorrow or on opening day, and one thing that I really found interesting was their off season. It seemed like, they more subtracted from the Dodgers than they did add to their own team, because they while they did pick up Yu Darvish and Brandon Morrow, they also walk Jake Arrieta and Wade Davis, who are both a starting pitcher and a relief pitcher, which is the same as Darvish and Morrow. And those were guys that were on the Dodgers that helped the Dodgers beat the Cubs last year. So, and I felt like they really overpaid for, I'd say, both of those guys, to be honest with you, especially after what Darvish did in the World Series. Mm-hmm. I mean, although Darvish he was absolutely lights out in the series against the Cubs. I was really impressed and really hopeful for him. But we all know what happened in the next series against Houston. It was
in the World Series.
Yeah, it went from this guy almost throwing a shutout, borderline throwing games of his life in the NLCS to barely making it 3 innings in 2 World Series games. I mean, it was crazy. It was just night and day.
You just kind of it leaves you wondering on what happened, who got in his head.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Well,
was there something wrong with them? Was there what was going on?
Well, I've actually. I mean, I don't know if it's been pretty reported that he was pretty much tipping his pitches to the Astros, meaning the Astros could pretty much see exactly what he was throwing when he was throwing the pitch. So that obviously would have played a major impact if the hitters know exactly what you're throwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just something that happens, and unfortunately for him, it happened at the worst possible time.
Yeah. Never good to be the one that a lot of the failure gets blamed to, especially in the World Series or in any kind of finals of any sort.
Yeah, he's not very well liked with Dodger fans anymore.
Oh, and for good reason.
Yeah. And especially, I think one of the things that kind of rubbed Dodger fans the wrong way, I mean, me being one of them, is when he signed with the Cubs, his response was, "I want to beat the Dodgers." And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm thinking, the Dodgers didn't really do anything to you except try to give you an opportunity to shine. And what do? You spit out two performances that were some of the worst we've ever seen in the World Series. So that kind of was like, what? I'm not even sure why you're saying that, but I guess, okay. But
Maybe he just wants to stir up the media.
Yeah, that's a possibility. All I know is I cannot wait for the Dodgers to face the Cubs at Dodger Stadium and see Darvish pitch. That should be really entertaining and should be a really fun game.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, having someone like that saying stuff like that,
Yeah,
returning back to your home stadium, I think
he's
going to get some boos.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
But some players, I know in hockey anyways, some players thrive on that. So it might not be a good thing to boo him because,
well,
obviously you want to let him know that, you said something wrong.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, that might just make him that much better, and it might go against you.
Correct, yeah.
So, but just food for thought.
Well, we all remember. I don't know if you guys remember it, but a lot of Dodger fans remember the gesture that Yuri Gurriel made towards Darvish. I don't know if you guys remember that at all.
I do not.
I do not.
So he was a player on the first baseman for the Astros, I believe, and he made the slanty eyes towards Darvish, and and Darvish being of Asian descent, obviously that was a shot directly towards him, and
that kind of shit just isn't cool in any sport.
Yeah, it's no, yeah, definitely, and I would have thought that Darvish would have he would have thrived off that, and he would want to get revenge on him, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe he either gave up a home run to Gurriel in one of his next game he pitched, or a walk, but he didn't really thrive off that. He kind of just, he kind of acted like nothing happened, everything was fine, which I thought was a little interesting, and he then proceeded to just let Gurriel kind of do whatever he wanted, pretty much the Astros did whatever they wanted against Darvish in that series, so.
Well, and I'm all for a little smack talk in the finals or in any sport. Like, it adds a little more fire to the game, but you can't get into that racial shit.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I don't know. This isn't really on the notes, so if you don't want to answer, that's fine. I'm just kind of curious if you think. Well, my first question, it's a two-part question. Okay. So my first part of the question is there a rivalry between the Toronto Blue Jays and I believe it's the Texas
Rangers?
Who they played in the before this last? Yeah, that was my second question. Like,
there is now.
If there wasn't one, do you think that that whole thing that happened ignited a new rivalry?
Every time the Blue Jays and Rangers play now, I am glued to the TV. Because,
that was pretty interesting.
Ever since that incident with Bautista?
Yeah.
Slide into second base there?
Well, to me, first of all, the home run was awesome. And then, he slid in, and then Odor, he just clocked him.
Yeah.
He took it like a champ, too.
I was just about to say, he took that like a champ.
Right.
Took that punch like it didn't even happen. He went right after him.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty impressive.
Never been more proud of a Canadian team before.
Yeah, I guess he took advice from Canadian hockey teams.
Yeah, he definitely took some hockey tips there.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to kind of end things off with baseball about talking about the team that seems like everyone cannot stop talking about, and that is the New York Yankees. They had quite the offseason this offseason, I would say. They grabbed Giancarlo Stanton from the Marlins for, like what we said before, it seemed like pennies on the dollar.
Just giving them away.
Yeah,
well, he's such a good player.
Right.
Especially now, he's just so lethal.
Yeah, especially, he's a huge player. He has a huge arm. And especially at Yankee Stadium where the fences are not in right field are not very far. So if Stanton can, pull balls the other way, he's going to hit a lot of home runs in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
So that's definitely for sure.
But
And he's got no problems with hitting homers anywhere.
yeah, I mean he's hit 50-foot bombs, and it's just wow. I mean, it just kind of leaves you in awe. But one thing I definitely want to talk about was it seemed like every sports media page is talking about Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, they just can't stop talking about him. And they're talking about, they're going to meet the Dodgers in the World Series. Well, you're kind of forgetting about the defending champions. I mean, the Houston Astros didn't really lose any pieces, and in my opinion, they're still better than the Yankees are.
That's very true, yeah. Well, and if, I didn't know they didn't lose any pieces, but I mean, usually if you got a championship team and
Right.
they're all still clicking, why fix what's not broken, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, they didn't lose any, they may have lost a reliever, but yeah, there was no key pieces that were lost, so, there was no guy that left for free agency or anything like that, Yu Darvish and Brandon Morrow for the Dodgers did. And, I'm just looking at the Yankees, Aaron Judge is going to his second year, and, we all know about that sophomore slump that really happens in kind of any sport, really.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering. I mean, is he gonna be able to bounce back? Because I mean, while he had a great year and he was a monster, he struck out a hell of a lot. And so it kind of leaves me thinking, what's he gonna do? I mean, because Stan's a guy. I mean, like all power hitters are, they tend to strike out a lot, and. Aaron Judge, I think, until Cody Bellinger did in the World Series, he had the record for the most strikeouts in a playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
So people are kind of nominating the Yankees as these, the World Series kings, World Series champions already, and the season hasn't even started. And how about you try to beat the defending champions first?
Yeah, don't go in with predetermined confidence.
Right.
You should never underestimate anybody.
Don't count your chickens before they're hatched.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yes, exactly.
people thought the Cubs were going to be a dynasty and they were going to win, every year, and I would say they got pretty smoked by the Dodgers last year in the NLCS.
For sure.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
well, that's all we got for baseball. I'd say we should move on to the some hockey. What do you guys say?
Oh, now you're hitting our strong suit.
Yeah. Now we can really put our 2 cents.
Let's get into the real sports now.
Hey now.
Yeah. So I guess I don't really know where you should start, but I mean, I guess we could probably start with maybe the playoff race. I mean, who do you guys think is going to take it from each conference?
Leo, you want to go first?
Right now, I'm thinking, to be honest, Washington's looking real good again, they always are.
Well, they always look great in the regular season.
They do, and then they'll probably end up choking in that second round, as usual. It wouldn't be Washington if they didn't choke in the second round against Pittsburgh.
Against the Penguins, yeah.
But, Nashville just making a strong push here.
Right.
And, just unreal. Rene just at the top of his game.
Yeah, Rene is
every
Isn't
year
that
just
crazy?
getting better and better.
And
the
the guy's
stats
35.
he's putting up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. And, it's just unbelievable the numbers he's putting up. But, come on, let's talk about the real story here. The Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah. For
who
sure.
saw that coming?
I mean, if you would have
Like
said
I
Vegas, if you would have said Vegas is making the playoffs, people would look at you like you're crazy.
If you would have told me that they'd have as many points in their first season as the Maple Leafs did in their best season in 100 years, I'd tell you you're a liar.
Yeah.
I'd say you're a liar. but they're just setting record after record here. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and I mean, players on their team are just performing, and it's just everything's just clicking.
Well, like, look at Carlson.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
like he had
Went from-
9
yeah.
goals or something last year, and
Yeah. Now
he's
like
at
just under 40 or something like that.
yeah,
Like,
it's unreal.
So Leo, I actually had something interesting about Washington. So you obviously brought up Washington as being a team that could definitely come out of the Eastern Conference, and I 100% agree with you. They could, but if you're looking at someone who you might think as an underdog, now I know a lot of people are looking at Washington like, oh, they're the top, they're one of the top teams in the conference, but I kind of see Washington as kind of an underdog in a way because everyone's so used to their playoff failures.
yeah. Well, and let's not forget here, like right now, like Toronto's holding on to that third spot in the
Right.
Atlantic.
Right.
And God, they have got a team on them right now.
Yeah.
And like the youngs of like Marner, Nylander, Matthews, they're hitting their stride all at the same time. It's exactly what this team needs. And like Riley and Gardner, they're playing well.
Right.
Like, they're not giving up stupid plays. I think Babcock's done well with them.
Yeah, he absolutely has.
He's definitely got that stern style that they needed.
Right. I 100% agree.
So, you know what? I'm excited to see where this goes. But, like, there's so many teams out there. Like, I mean, Philadelphia, they got a bunch of great players coming up.
Right.
With Patrick and
absolutely.
and then they've got Giroux and Vortek that are just going full stride right now, and Couturier that's finally performing the way he should be. And then you get New Jersey as well, like just the breakout team this year. Just they're holding on to that last wild card spot by a thread. But I mean, you got Hall that just put up like 25, 26 games in a row with a point. Like,
yeah. Can
what
you
is that?
Can
The
you
first
put
week?
on? Can you put on a scale from 1 to 10 how much the Oilers are regretting getting rid of Taylor Hall right now? Like
15.
Like, well, and that's just the thing, because like they got rid of Taylor Hall for something they direly needed, which was a defense. Now, a 1-for-1 trade there was a bit iffy.
Well,
like that one, I think you probably could have got something a little more for that. Maybe Adam Larson and a third, or maybe even if you're looking good, a second round pick for Taylor Hall.
And even
future consideration. But I mean, a 1-1 that was probably a risky play, but Edmonton was looking for in the right now we need defense.
Right. Well, but I mean, even then, I mean, they traded Taylor Hall to New Jersey, and New Jersey still went after a defenseman, and they got Sammy Vatanen from Anaheim for Adam Henrique, and Henrique's been insane for Anaheim as well this year.
Yeah, playing good. Like, it just seems that like the Oilers, no matter what they do, something always goes wrong.
Right.
Like, it's just they can't win. Like last year was just unreal. They made the playoffs. They made a great playoff run. They a phenomenal playoff. Like the fact that they got the second round and took Anaheim to the seventh game was like everybody was up in their feet. Like, how are they doing this? Like, obviously everybody. David.
But then they then they helped Anaheim break their Game 7 curse. So.
Yeah, and it's just you kind of figured that they probably weren't going any farther, but they gave them a little hope, and then this year they just went right back to their old ways.
But I mean, I feel like I think it might have been Game 5, maybe. I'm not 100% sure where. Edmonton gave up 3. They had a 3-1 lead, and with like a minute to go, and gave that up. I mean, that's unacceptable.
That's one thing to do it in a regulation game.
Right.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
To doing that in the playoffs.
It's funny too because being a Ducks fan, I obviously have heard Oilers fans talk about how that last goal was goaltender interference. You shouldn't be in that position anyway.
Yeah, and I think it might have to do with the possibly the inexperience
Oh,
of
absolutely,
the team.
absolutely.
Like the first time they made the playoffs for how long, right? So like everybody's young, everybody's new. I think Lucic was the only one with substantial playoff experience
No, it's
from
definitely
his
fair.
time in Boston and LA. So I mean, that experience is going to catch up to you, especially against a talented Ducks team who has experience. They know
Yeah, right.
that they know not to count themselves out
No, that
until the end.
and that was Anaheim's motto the entire playoffs last year. I mean, they were the comeback kids.
Yeah, and and I think that has to do with the experience. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, like look at the leadership too, like Getzlav and Perry and people like that, and then you have
Kessler.
Raquel, who's coming
Yeah,
up,
Raquel.
Kessler, yeah.
Raquel has been the Ducks' top goal scorer for the past 2 years, and he has just been an absolute stud.
Yeah.
He's definitely performing the way he should be.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, he's playing well for that team. And now, you might hate me for saying this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks tried to pawn him off.
Raquel, really, really.
Well, just to try and get something else. Like, Raquel's doing really good, but you never know, right? Like, he's a younger player, right? So,
Yeah. See, I would agree that they might try to do something like that, but I wouldn't say it would be Raquel. If they were going to trade a guy, I'd say it'd probably be a guy like Kessler, maybe a guy like Perry.
yeah. Well, but see, that's just the thing, is that people like Perry and Kessler, they're still doing all right, but they're not performing to what they were.
They're not really performing to what their contract says they're worth.
Exactly, and the real thing is, like, when is Perry and when's Perry's contract up here? That would be
Right.
like if it was in the last year of his contract.
Of course, yeah.
Then I could absolutely see them trying to maybe ship him off somewhere else. But, like, I mean, nobody's gonna take that contract if he's got like $9 million a year. Like,
Well, as it stands right now, Perry is a free agent in 2021, and his cap is 8.6 for the remaining years. Yeah.
and see, but that's a lot of money to invest in a player that's
Right.
only playing okay to what he's
True.
getting paid.
And I mean, same thing with Kessler. Kessler's making 6.8. His contract is it's even past 2021. So, and those are two guys that are also getting older as well.
Well, exactly. And if Kessler's gonna go, like, you need to do it now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, you need to get it out now.
I mean, but I can see where you're coming from, but I definitely cannot see Raquel leaving because Raquel recently signed an extension.
Well, he recently signed an extension, but the only reason I could ever see him going would be the fact of, a team is interested in him and they're going to give him a good deal over it.
Right. I mean,
But
Raquel's current cap is 3.7, and for the number one goal scorer, that's pretty reasonable.
that's pretty good. Yeah, you're probably right. He might not go, but, I can't. After seeing the Rangers trade McDonough and JT Miller, nothing's off.
That's a fair point right there. But also, I mean, Raquel is, he's like you said, he's pretty young. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. He's still young. He's top goal scorer, but it all depends on what the team needs. If the team feels that it needs to rebuild or needs to do something else, he might be a key piece they're looking at moving just to try and pick someone else up. Maybe just shake the basket a little bit.
That'd be one hell of a shakeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good shakeup. You'd probably get something really nice in return for it, right?
So, since we are on the topic of the Anaheim Ducks,
Right.
I just have a quick question
Of course, yeah.
for both of you guys. So, with the age of Ryan Getzlav,
Right.
do you see them trading him at all, or do you think that they're just going to keep him until he retires? I know he's still a great player. There's no real reason to trade him right now. I'm just curious, given his age, if you think that they try and get something for him now
Right.
before he starts declining.
Right. I would say that might be something more towards Ryan Kessler than Ryan Getzlaf. I feel like Getzlaf is a guy who's going to be in a Ducks uniform his entire career. I can't see it, just because he is their captain. Although after seeing what the Rangers did, you can really never rule anything out.
Oh,
And that's the reason I ask, is just
Right.
because he is a captain, and he's a good captain.
Yeah, exactly.
well, let's look at it this way though. The Rangers did what they were doing because they weren't making any ground. They were actually
True.
losing ground
True.
on what they were previously doing in other seasons. Like this is the first year in since 2011, 2012 that we're not hitting the playoffs.
Right.
So of course they think, something needs to be done
Absolutely.
like today.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately for McDonough, which was thank you for all your years, was the victim of that. It's unfortunate to see JT Miller go with him.
Right.
I
yeah.
was really looking forward to seeing where he was going with the team.
And now
but-
he's gone.
Now he's gone, but it is what it is, and you got to remember that hockey is a business. As much as I would have rathered him stay on the team,
Yeah. Yeah.
things needed to change, and Nemchenkov just seemed like a good fit at the time. And he came in, and he's not performing the way you'd want him to. But
right.
I mean, you win some, you lose some. Hopefully, the draft is good to us, and hopefully, Elias Anderson, with his first goal here, hopefully he starts filling in those shoes.
Yeah, I feel like that's actually a very good point. I feel like, the Ducks are, for the past number of years, they've been contenders, and they're obviously still a contender this year. So I feel like, as long as the Ducks are contending, like Leo said, I feel like, nothing probably will change. I mean, I thought the Ducks were going to do something at the trade deadline. They really just signed Chris Kelly and got Jason Chimera, which was very underwhelming considering, who the Ducks were maybe rumored to try and go after. So
Yeah.
I feel like as long as the Ducks are contending, those big names probably won't move. But like you said, I mean, I feel like maybe if the Ducks, they struggle, maybe there's a big injury, a big trade, or maybe, well, I'm not going to say big trade, but, if there's an injury or for some reason something happens and they're just maybe like an Oilers type deal where they just aren't very good, then, maybe the Ducks will pull the Rangers and try to get something out of their captain or anyone else, really.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Sure.
And the thing is, you'll never know
Right.
until it happens.
Until it happens, yeah. Yeah, I guess that was one of my questions. So I guess I guess I'll direct this to Leo. And then I'll bring it over to you, Michael.
All right.
So in the East and the West, what are two matchups that you're most excited for? I guess like looking forward to
Okay.
in both conferences.
East and West here. I haven't looked at the full matchup here. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No worries. Sorry, I didn't realize you hadn't seen it.
I haven't really been looking. I was too focused on my team, not making the playoffs.
Fair. That's fair.
So as it sits, Washington right now would play. There's Philadelphia, and then Pittsburgh would play Columbus. Tampa Bay would be playing New Jersey, and then Boston would be playing Toronto for the East.
Ooh. For me, I feel like that Boston-Toronto series would be a real good series, actually.
I 100% agree.
Series, oh my god, that one's...
Yeah, there wasn't... I don't know. You read out those series, and, nothing really jumped out to me, but as soon as you said Boston-Toronto, just, my ears kind of perked up, like, ooh, that's going to be a really good series.
Off topic, but did either of you guys see that Zdeno Chara just signed a 1 year,
I did see
$5
that,
million deal with Boston?
Yeah, I
He's
did.
going
see
for
that.
one. Oh yeah, big guy's back.
He is back.
But it'll be interesting to see. It will.
For sure.
I think that'll probably be one of the best ones to see. That being said, I'm kind of interested to see where that Vegas St. Louis one goes. To be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's the one everyone's going to be watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going on paper, I would.
First 8 wins already.
Right. I mean, if we're going on paper, I'd definitely be taking Vegas in that series. But again, it's hockey. It's Vegas' first year, so you really never know.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Excuse me. So, do you think? Obviously, Tampa Bay seems like a shoe-in to make the finals.
Right.
Do you think New Jersey gives them any trouble in the first round?
I think they do. Like
Yeah.
they've got a spunk to them. They really do. And with some pickups with Grabner and Maroon off the Oilers, there, like those are some serious players. Like
Right.
they're not your like 80.76 like all that point.
They're grinders.
Solid. Yeah, they're
Or Maroon, at least.
40 point. Grabner's fast. Maroon's big.
Yeah.
If you can feed him the puck, he makes goals happen. So, like, it just shows that you've got some big pickups there, and it shows they mean business. And Schneider's, he's ready for a win. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
he's too good of a goaltender to just being like the first time he's making the playoffs in how many years.
Right. That's fair.
He's too good of a player for that kind of stuff. So.
Mhm.
But it'll be exciting to see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, I mean, I would certainly take Tampa. I feel like New Jersey can be one of those teams that kind of, they can kind of claw at a team, but in the end, I just feel like Tampa's the better team.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I kind of feel similar to, at this point, it'd be Anaheim would play Nashville in the first round, and I feel like the Ducks have they have a chance, but I just feel like Nashville is just overall they're just a better team. And in the end, I'd strictly pick Nashville, and maybe 5 or 6 games. And that's how I feel. Maybe New Jersey can pick up one, maybe 2 games. In the end, I just feel like Tampa Bay is they're just gonna at some point just kind of overwhelm them.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like New Jersey is possibly too young with their rookies like Heishier and Will Butcher on defense. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is certainly going to come out of the West. Come out of the East.
Out of
not
the
the West.
East?
Yeah,
It's going to come out of the West. Surprise.
yeah.
Surprise! New
Nobody
format.
saw that one coming. Exactly. Surprise that. LA Kings never even saw them coming.
No. Do you think Columbus wants to get revenge on Pittsburgh for last year? And do you think they give Pittsburgh some problems? Do you think they can win?
I really hope so. I mean, Bobrovsky is he's an unreal goaltender. So the fact that he played the way he did last year,
Right.
is kind of concerning, in a way.
Well,
yeah, he didn't play too good in the playoffs
no.
last year.
I mean,
No, he played like an average goaltender, not the elite goaltender that he was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Columbus wants to get rid of Pittsburgh. The question is, can they? And I would probably say no.
Yeah. I'm
Pittsburgh,
going to agree.
I mean, Malkin's just like he's as much as I dislike the guy, just the way he acts and
Right.
stuff like that. It's just I respect that he's got the talent.
Absolutely.
Definitely got the talent.
When he's healthy.
Well,
Like what? Well, and that's the thing. How many points do you put up there from January to now? I think the total they said was like around 50 or 60 points.
right.
Yeah,
And like
it's
that's
unreal.
like 30 games or something like that. Like,
Well,
like he put up the majority of his points in the last third of the season.
if you want to go to guys that are talented but we all really dislike, how about Brad Marchand?
Not even get me started on that, Michael. Like,
Brad
oh,
Marchand. Talk
oh
about
my-
a guy who has.
talk about a guy that just needs to be he just needs to be gone.
Right.
Well, and that's the problem. Like he has so much talent. He is
Right.
such a talented guy, and he just irritates me with
Yeah.
the way he does stuff. Like he just can't make good decisions. Like he always goes out there.
They
He
try to
can
injure
skate
someone.
by the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the option to skate by.
Yeah.
And he just throws his elbow up. I mean, like, what? Like, come on.
Completely uncalled for.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
I've heard people say that, Kessler's, I've heard people say Kessler's dirty. I feel like he's an irritant more than a dirty player. I mean, yeah, because he could skate by him, but I mean, if you kind of, if you gave him a little jab on the ribs, not very hard, but kind of just like to irritate him, that's one thing. But he's putting an elbow up to try to injure the guy.
It's crazy. I hate it. I hate when he does stuff like that.
Well, and the fact that they keep giving him 5 game
Yeah.
suspensions here, 3 games here. I'm like, get him out for an entire season. Just get rid of him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, show and don't give him pay. Don't be like
No,
4
no.
games with pay.
No,
Like,
that's
just get him out of there.
all
Like,
you're
he's not-
doing is giving him a week vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this guy has been suspended almost every season for the last 10 seasons. He's been suspended almost every single season.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, that, like, I don't know. Like, it either needs to be like Leo mentioned, like, get him out, or suspend him for longer. Like, get him out for 20, 30 games, no pay.
Yeah, that's
And if he gets suspended near the playoffs, well, no playoffs. And
Yeah,
now you've
exactly.
ruined your team's chances because he is talented and
Yeah.
he can put up points. And that's nothing against the Bruins.
no,
When
absolutely
I
not.
say
Yeah.
I don't like Marchand.
Like, and you just kind of gotta wonder, like, what do his teammates and what does his coach say? What does his family say when you see
Yeah.
that kind of stuff? Do they say, "Oops," or do they say, like, "Why are you doing that? Like, come on, man! Like, grow up! Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
why are you trying to end people's careers? Like, and some of them are in their 30s, and like, yeah, they're getting closer to the end of their careers, but some of them are 22, 24.
Mhm.
Like, they're just starting their careers, and it's like, that's unnecessary. It's
Yeah.
a dangerous play that isn't called for.
Right.
And it's almost like, what happens if you end somebody's career short? Like,
Yeah.
what was his name? Horton, who
Well,
got
That was
his career ended.
a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can remember correctly, he wasn't too old when that happened, was he?
I think he was 20 something. I'll have to look
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, so he's probably in his mid-20s, late 20s maybe, but regardless, I mean, that could happen again if Marchand keeps doing what he's doing. Like, he could end something. Like, what happens if he goes against Matthews
Yeah.
and he
And
does something stupid and he ends Matthews' career? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal that this guy hasn't gotten more. And over the past 10 seasons, he's got over $700,000 in fines.
He would have been 27 at the time, by the way.
wow.
27. And his career got ended. Not by Marchand, obviously.
Yeah.
But still, it's just a reminder of how, Nathan Horton, I think that was his name, right? Nathan Horton?
Nathan Horton.
Yeah. How he could have had, like, at least, 5 more years. At least.
Unreal.
And it's just ended, and I'm afraid Marchand might do that.
I mean,
to
he's
somebody else.
he's a danger to other players on the ice, and there should be no room for hockey in that at all. All right, so we spent a lot of time today talking about hockey. About a lot of podcasts I talked about hockey. Talked a little about the MLB opening day. I kind of want to switch things over to end the podcast for today, talking about the Masters and the return of Tiger Woods.
Yep.
Gonna win it all.
Well, that's I
What?
mean, according to Vegas, he is the favorite, and that's actually something I kind of want to get into is the fact that this guy hasn't won a tournament in a number of years, and all of a sudden he comes back, he plays pretty well, and he actually played very well in tournaments he's played in, but he still didn't win, and all of a sudden he's the favorite to win the Masters, and I'm kind of curious. I have my opinions on why he might be, but what do you guys think maybe is the reason for that?
I think it might just be it could possibly be reputation.
Right.
You know, he's Tiger Woods.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
so like that could be why a lot of people are favoriting him to win. Again, it shouldn't be the reason because obviously if he hasn't won for a while, then.
Yeah.
But then again, you could look at it like maybe he's due for one, right?
That's
like
true.
he comes back, he's been playing well in the last few tournaments.
Right.
Maybe this is his time, right? Maybe he's just due to win a tournament, and that could very well be the reason.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a part of it. I also feel like there's definitely a nostalgia factor. That's oh my god, you know, Tiger Woods is playing at the Masters, you know, and this is what so many people have wanted for a number of years to see Tiger Woods back playing good golf, and I feel like that definitely plays a factor into why he's favored. Even though I feel like there are guys like Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy who should be the favorites, you know, over Tiger, but you know he's Tiger.
Isn't Rory still on injury leave there with that snowboarding accident?
He could be. I'm not. I believe Rory is playing the Masters.
Oh, I was off topic. My bad.
No worries.
He's off. Yeah, he is injured.
Okay.
Oh, he's skipping the remainder of 2017. With his rib injury, he might be out. But I'll have to do a little more on that. But
well, if Rory is healthy,
to be honest, I think one of the favorites should be, you know, Bubba Watson and like your people that have won it before, like they know the court. And I think the whole reason that Tiger is a favorite for this is just because he's won it and he always plays well on it.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
He's never really off, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes with this. I guess is the key thing here.
I mean, I've been a Tiger fan, you know, ever since I watched golf. I mean, it's just he really brought a new energy to the sport that, you know, it was just old white guys before, and now there's guys like Justin Thomas and Ricky Fowler who are, you know, they don't have the impact Tiger Woods was because Tiger was a black golfer and that was something that was new. But you know, guys like I said, Justin Thomas and Ricky Fowler, they're just like new. They're young. They're kind of they're cool, and I feel like that's something that definitely helps the sport of golf. But nothing will ever surpass the impact that Tiger Woods will have on the game of golf.
No, he revolutionized the sport for them.
Yeah.
If we're being honest,
absolutely.
He made the sport what it is.
Let's just say this: when Tiger's not playing golf ratings are way up. Every other day, they're meh.
Yeah, they're meh at best.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
All right. Well, I feel like I think that's good for golf. I don't know. You guys want to? We have about 10 minutes left. You guys
until that Masters comes up, we won't really know for sure. We can speculate all we want, but
that's fair, yeah.
To be honest, I think people are going to want to watch Bubba Watson, Tiger Woods, maybe Dustin Johnson if he's on his A game there. But it's gonna come down to who's on their game and who's not. It's just like any golf tournament. You can speculate, Tiger's the favorite, past winners, this, that, the rookie coming up, the Jordan Spieths and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you'll never just, you're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'll give you this though. If Tiger Woods is in the last group and he's tied for the lead on Sunday at the Masters, you better believe that's probably going to be the highest rated Masters ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing that could possibly be discussed with this is, do you think Tiger's back for good? Like, do you think he's going to come back and keep playing in these tournaments, or do you think this is just his, making a statement that he's still a great golfer and then he's going to kind of fade, or do you think he's back and he's here to stay?
I sure hope he is.
I hope he's here to stay.
Yeah. I feel like until we see Tiger playing on a very regular basis and competing, you can't really say he's back. I mean, I feel like Tiger Woods is never going to be that guy again. He's never going to be that Tiger, but he can still be a very dominant golfer. But I mean, when Tiger was at his best, that was something that golf had never seen before because he was just so good. But that also has to do with a lot of the people that are around him because, a lot of players around him are, again, they're incredible. And they may, maybe he didn't have the competition. I'm not taking anything away from Tiger, obviously, but, the guys now I feel like are better than the ones when Tiger was playing at his best.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's see. We got about 7 minutes left. We can spend that time, end it off talking about the NBA. I know that's something we probably won't talk about too much, but there's been a little bit of news going around, especially with the Warriors. It was announced that Curry had a sprained MCL and he'll be out for at least 3 weeks, and then he'll be reevaluated. Then, I mean, as kind of a casual basketball fan, I have my favorite team, but that kind of makes me think, maybe this is the year that's not just Cavs Warriors done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty huge injury. I mean, like, what a player to get taken out of your lineup at a pretty important time of the year.
Yeah,
I
but
was just about to say, that player is just, oh my God. Like, Stephen Curry is such a impactful player. I mean, like, to him go out is like, if Gretzky were to go out for the Oilers.
Right. Well, I mean, although this gives Kevin Durant
All-Star. What's the term?
I was going to say that gives Kevin Durant kind of a chance to shine because, a lot of people really dislike Kevin Durant, including me, by the way, that said, what he did was the weakest move that, people have ever seen in sports, and I happen to agree with that. I mean, this team that he joined last summer, or 2 summers ago, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead to the Cavaliers, and when Kevin Durant was on Oklahoma City Thunder, he also had a 3-1 lead against the against the Golden State Warriors, and they lost 3 straight games. And he joined that team, and in the regular season, that Warriors team went 73-9. Wow. And Kevin Durant decided to join that team. It was the weakest move I've ever seen by a superstar, and he's kind of, I'm not gonna say he's embraced the role of the villain. I mean, he partially has, but at the same time, he's very, it's that, there is that news that came out that Kevin Durant has burner Twitter accounts, and he uses those accounts to defend himself. And I mean, you've never seen that from a superstar. I mean, it's a guy that is so worried about what people think, and he's making all these fake Twitter accounts defending himself. When I mean, it's stupid. I mean, you made a decision to this weak move, and now you're just joining this team. And I'm sorry, but in my opinion, Kevin Durant will never be a champion unless he wins one not on the Golden State Warriors. Because if you have a starting lineup of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, I mean, really?
Like, you've got 4 of the biggest players in basketball playing on the same line. Your starting lineup is basically all-stars.
Yeah, Draymond
It's like
Green,
if you were to put Messier, Gretzky, fucking Hall, sorry about the language, but I mean, just name all the best players in hockey,
right,
or the best players in baseball, and just throw them all in the lineup, and say, "Oh, I can't believe we won 3 or 4 championships in a row." It's like,
really?
Well, you should have won 3 or 4 championships in a row.
That's like Kevin Durant saying, being a guy like it's almost like McDavid saying, "Oh, I'm going to join the Penguins and play with Sidney Crosby on the first line." What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be a bogus move.
Yeah.
That would be.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of my bigger issues with with basketball is that, for the past how many years, you don't even need to watch. All you need to do is say who's going to win, Golden State or the Cavaliers, right?
Well, it's whichever team LeBron's on.
There you go.
I mean, as an example, there's this funny flow chart that says, it's about a team being in the Eastern Conference, and the flow chart says, will you make the finals? And then and then the next question is LeBron James on your team? Yes, you will make the finals. No, you will not make the finals.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron's been to, I believe, 7 or 8 straight finals. I mean, that's just I believe LeBron. I mean, LeBron James is clearly the best player in the world. It's debatable he's the greatest player of all time, but I mean, the guy's amazing. But that just goes to show you, how much. That's one thing I love about hockey is that one player can't do everything. And in basketball, it's now it's a little bit different because you need 3 or 4 superstars to even compete with the Warriors. But in a regular NBA, if you have one star, you can you can basically carry that player, ride that player all the way to a championship maybe.
Yeah, and that's the issue. I mean, there's no upsets, right? I mean, in hockey right now, Tampa Bay plays New Jersey. Yeah, Tampa Bay is favored, but there's still a chance New Jersey is going to pull something out.
And here's the thing too,
beat Tampa Bay
is that the Houston Rockets are people are saying that the Houston Rockets have a chance to upset the Golden State Warriors this year. What's funny is if the Rockets were playing in a conference with any other team but the Warriors, they would be a heavy favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's just how good the Warriors are and how star-studded this team is. And it's just, I don't know. I hope the Warriors get knocked out. I'd be so happy if they got upset in an early round. But I'd say one thing I would love to see is if Oklahoma City ends up playing the Warriors, and if Oklahoma City wins and Russell Westbrook gets to beat Kevin Durant, his former teammate, former best friend, until he just completely abandoned him. That would be one of the coolest moments, and I think it'd bring a lot of people back to saying, the NBA is there can be some episodes in that sport.
Yeah, I think that was one of the negative things the NBA has kind of grown for itself over the years is just the predictability of it and the amount of like you said, like the ability for a player to carry a team. Right. I mean, like, look at Connor McDavid. The guy's leading the league with 103 points or 102 points. And the Oilers are like
a dumpster fire. Yeah, they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah. And now, that's not to say I hope the Oilers do bad. I'm just saying that's a good example of how, like one person can't carry a team. And in the NHL and with basketball,
it's completely different. I mean, it's just... That's why the NHL is so good, is that you really don't know who's going to win. I mean, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they went back to back, but that was a shocker to people. I mean, it was like that doesn't happen, and the NBA seems to happen regularly.
Yeah. So it looks like we have about 15 seconds left, according to my clock here.
We'll wrap it up here, and
So thank you all for watching, and hopefully everybody had fun.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Right, see ya.
Peace.